Hello everyone, thanks for joining me today. I wanted to share with you today how I created this cute little Stuffy using some basic shapes that are already built into your BES4 software. So let's go ahead and get started, and you can follow me along if you'd like to. So here is the outlines of stitches that I used to create my Stuffy using the basic shapes that are already built into the software. We're going to go ahead and close off some of these, and we'll open them up as we need them as we're working on our project. Okay. So what you'll do is you'll go up here to the home, and it has an add design feature up here. And in that add design, there are some applique shapes. We're going to go down here to this little owl applique and select that, and with your mouse click on the left side and drag until you get your shape to be about the size that you want it to be, and then release the left side button and it will have drawn a shape out for you. Now I know on mine I did not want to use the eye features that were here because I'm going to create my own. So we're going to go ahead and delete those. So you can go over to that left panel there where you see these. Select one and delete it. We're going to select the other and delete it. And these are probably grouped together. So I'm going to right click and ungroup. So that way I make sure that I don't have both of these designs changing on me. Okay, so now over here, you can leave yours as a satin stitch. I wanted to change mine to a run because it's going to work like a sewing line around the project, and then select apply. So I've got a stitching line that's going to sew my front and back layers of fabric together. I also did reshape my design some. So let's open this up a little bit, and you can see the one I have here. Let's change that to a different color so that you can see the two variations. Let's give that a red color here so you can see. So let's take, and we can take these little box here, and we can change the sizing how we want it to be. And I also extended mine up a little bit because I wanted it to have a little bit longer body than what it originally called for. So that is how I just kind of maneuvered and reshaped all of the lines. Okay, so then the next thing that I had done, we're going to close this one off, was I wanted to add in some wings. So we're going to go to add design. And this is where think outside the box and get creative with the shapes that are built in here. I actually took this egg shape and brought that in and drew this across like so. Now just imagine this brought over to here like this, and you use half of it, and that's what I did to create the wings. So we're going to get rid of this inside one because I didn't want that one. And then this one here would be the one that I went ahead and kept. What I also did was change that to a motif. And then you can go down, and there's lots of motif designs here, and find something that you like. There's a variety of different ones. You can click on one and see if it looks like something you would like, and then select apply, and then you can see the stitching that it's going to create. Now one thing, it may look like it is going to be a good size here, but I found it a little smaller than what I really wanted in reality. So you can go up here and you can change the motif sizes and lengths. Let's change this to a 6 and just see what it does. See, it makes a completely different size. Now, to make your right and left side for your wings, what you'll need to do is go up here to tools and you'll have an edit shape tool. And we're going to cut this in half. So if I select here, I can select this split line and go at the bottom and select split line. And you can see here now, I've got a right and a left shaped piece here. So I can then take this and we'll right click and ungroup. So then I can select this side and I can maneuver that over here. So I've got some wing shapes here. And you're going to want to take time to go ahead and resize those to what you would want them to be. So let's go ahead and turn on the ones that I had made before. And let's see here. This one is what I'm looking for. Okay, so you can see I have it almost the same size actually here, it looks like. How about that? Okay, I pretty much have it about the same size, so we can go ahead and turn these off. And then let's say we rotate that just a little bit right there. You want it to extend beyond here a little bit. And then I'm going to select this one on the right. I can use my control key on my keyboard, or I can, and then select this. And what we're going to do is arrange and align at the top so that both of these are now in the same place at the top. And then I can select this one and we'll rotate that kind of to match the other one here and maneuver it just a little bit. So see, we've got some wings there now. That nose, when we resized everything, got a little out of place. So we can go ahead and move that nose over here. We may move it again some more later. Now another thing that we want to do is add some eyes, and that is real simple. We can go into Add Design. And right here is a nice circle. And we just select that and put that in. And then we'll go over here to Tools. Oh, select this. Okay, this, I want to make it a motif as well. And again, go down and pick a design that you like. If you want the same one that you used before, you can go down and pick that same shape. Let's see, where was that down here? I think it was maybe this one. And let's change the size. I would recommend when you want to make a project, maybe just stitch it out only on your stabilizer. So that way you can see if you like the sizing of the stitches and the placement and everything before you actually stitch it out on fabric. I think that's going to be a little big. Let's change that to a 5 here and see what we think. Okay, just for the purpose of making this, we'll just leave that. And then I can do is select that and right click on my mouse and say copy, and right click again and say paste, and it's going to put one right on top of the other. And then I can just bring that over like that. So I've got 2 eyes now. Now for this, on my particular project, I also went ahead and made these little flowers that went inside of mine. These are different sizes than what I originally made. That's all right. So we're going to go back in, Add Design. And in here, we've got some flower shapes. Let's take this one here and just see, we'll draw that right inside there. And you can kind of see then the size you like. Voila. Okay. We're going to select that And let's make that a blanket stitch. And I think I did this as a 4. I left that as a 3. I believe I made this as a 2. And then selected apply. And we can zoom in a little now so we can see this a little bit better. And if you want, you can select this 3D draw. Actually, that really is in our 3D draw mode. Okay. So then copy that, right click, copy, right click again, paste. It's going to put one right on top of the other. And then we'll bring that over here and maneuver it around till it's where we would want it to be. So you can see how we're starting to take some shape here. Okay, so then the next thing we need to do is, for our stuffy, is to be able to sew the back fabric on. So what's going to happen so far is it's going to give us a placement stitch on our stabilizer. We'll put fabric down, and then it's going to go around and it's going to stitch that fabric into place. And then I wanted to stitch it into place again so that it's going to hold it securely. Then after we've got our fabric down, then you can choose what order you kind of want things to stitch. If you want to stitch the nose into place first, you can. But on mine, I actually move that down a little. So to move your shapes in a different stitching order, select your shape over here on the left, and we're going to go ahead and bring this particular shape down some. I'm going to bring it down to the bottom here because I wanted to do the eyes first in case my nose might be on top and I want it to stitch over top the edge of that fabric some. So then the next thing is going to be is we'll stitch a placement stitch for our fabric for a wing, and then you'll actually lay your fabric down, and this is going to stitch that in place. Now when you lay your fabric down, you're going to want that fabric to extend out beyond here, because you're going to need part of that in the seam allowance, because when you go to cut this out, you're going to cut out around here to be able to have enough fabric for the front and back to be sewn together. Usually in applique, we're going to, at this point, we would be trimming close together to the edge of the stitching line before we put on that motif stitch, but we don't want to stitch any excess here. We want to leave that excess fabric here. So then the next thing it would be doing would be to go ahead and stitch that motif down after we've trimmed the fabric right close to there. Then we're going to go to the other side, a placement stitch for the fabric, and then stitch that material into place. And then we will be trimming it close on the inside and then going and putting our motif stitch over top. Then we'll go up to the eyes and we'll do a placement stitch for the eye, and then we'll lay our fabric down, stitch it into place, trim it all around close, and then add our motif stitch all the way around it. And the same with the next one. And then we'll go to the inside and we would a placement stitch for where the eye is going to be. If you want that fabric to actually have 2 stitches on it, you can just lay that fabric down, because you know obviously that is where it's going to be placed. So you don't need a placement stitch to tell you where to put it, because you know that's exactly where it's going to be going to. And then it can just stitch it, you know, all the stitches on top of the fabric. That's just a personal choice. So then we finish that, and then we can add a little piece of fabric to the center of the eye and do the other eye over here. And then we would be stitching our little nose into place. Now the way to finish this is we're going to go back to the outside shape that we created. And this is going to, we're going to put another layer on top. This is going to stitch our front and back pieces of fabric together, and then we're going to create an opening at the bottom. So what we'll do here is select this. We're going to right click, copy, right click again, and paste, and it's going to put another one right over top, as you can see here on the bottom. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this first one off so we don't accidentally do anything like that, because we're going to edit this one that we just put here. So we're going to go back up to Tools, and we're going to be selecting this one here, and we're going to go to Edit Shape Tool. So this is where we're going to do some changing. Now decide how big of an opening you think you may need here for your personal self to be able to fill this up with whatever kind of fiber fill that you want to stuff your owl with. And I'm going to go right about here with my mouse, and then I'm going to right click right on that and say split line. Then I'm going to go over to the right here with my mouse right on that line, and again right click, split line. And if you look over here, you can see there's that section right there. We're not going to need that section. We're going to delete that. Now you can see here how it's going to have these pieces to stitch around. Now I want you to see something here. When it goes to stitch that, it's going to want to stitch this side here first, because the design itself originally starts stitching right here. But I really want to have a more fluid line going from here around. So what we're going to do is take this bottom piece here and we're going to move it up above. And then on this bottom one, we're going to what we're going to need to first is convert these to stitches, I believe, because we wanted to remove the stop. So yeah, so we're going to have to do here is tell it to preserve as stitches, and tell this one to preserve as stitches. Okay, so that it's going to stitch each layer together in order. We're going to then take this bottom one here that's green and put it next to this green one up above. We're going to just keep doing that. The next color here, this beige, we're going to put it under the beige one there. So when I stitch this out, now you'll be able to see the green, how it now starts from the bottom and just continues around, and then the beige one, and then, well, we got to move the blue one up. Sorry. Okay, so then, see there, now that's going to go in order. But the really cool thing here now is, now I can say remove stop. And I can go down, select this one and say remove stop, and go down and select this one and say remove stop. Now we don't need it to really do this 3 times. I would suggest at least twice, so I may just go ahead and eliminate one of these up here. And let's zoom in though, because I have a feeling, whoops, yeah, see this cream one? So a lot of times when you do applique, it'll have a stitch that goes on the inside. So let's eliminate that one. So then that way the green and the blue are right exactly on top of one another. That way when we sew the fronts and the backs together, I just like them doubled just to make sure it has good reinforcement. So what you would do after you've done all of your first layer of everything, then you'd lay your fabric upside down on top of all of this, and then you would be stitching, when you get over to this part here, the fronts and the backs together. Turn them inside out, poke the ears out really nicely, and then you would go ahead and fill up your little stuffy. And then this opening that we have, you would just take and hand sew it closed. So that's basically how you would create your own stuffy. And there's lots of other applique shapes in there that you could use. And just get creative. You can make, you know, if you don't want wings and you maybe want something with just a decorative element only in the middle front here, you could do that. You can, you know, make different kinds of eyes. You can do different kinds of motifs or blanket stitching around. So I'd like to encourage you to create your own and make your own project and share with us on the BES4 Facebook group. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye now.